These are anime that look absolutely adorable until they completely destroy your soul in the first episode. I'm not talking about shows that slowly build up to dark moments over multiple episodes. I'm talking about anime that literally traumatize you within 20 minutes of pressing play. You see that cute magical girl with the colorful outfit? She's about to get her head bitten off by a monster. Those adorable kids playing in their perfect orphanage, they're being raised as livestock for demons. That charming slice of life school comedy, it's actually a zombie apocalypse survival story where one of the main characters has completely lost her mind. The anime industry has perfected the art of psychological warfare disguised as kawaii culture, and today we're exploring the most brutal examples of this deception. These shows don't just pull the rug out from under you, they set the entire floor on fire while you're still falling. Let's start with the queen of cute to traumatic transformations, Puella Magi Madoka Magica. Released in 2011, this series revolutionized an entire genre by taking everything you thought you knew about magical girl anime and turning it into a nightmare. The setup is perfect bait. 14-year-old Madoka Kanami gets offered the chance to become a magical girl and have any wish granted. Standard magical girl fare, right? The art style is bright and colorful. The character designs are absolutely adorable. And even the opening sequence promises nothing but friendship, sparkles, and saving the day in frilly outfits. But here's where Madoka Magica shows its true genius. It doesn't rush to the horror. For 2 full episodes, it actually delivers on that promise of cute magical girl content. We meet Mami, an experienced magical girl who takes Madoka and her friend Sayaka under her wing to show them what the magical girl life really looks like. She's elegant, confident, and seems to have everything figured out. The battles are stylish, the transformations are gorgeous, and everything feels safe and heroic. Then episode 3 happens. Mami enters what seems like a routine battle against a witch named Charlotte. She's dominating the fight, showing off for her potential recruits, feeling completely in control. The witch appears defeated, and Mami even takes a moment to pose triumphantly. But Charlotte isn't finished. The witch suddenly transforms into a massive caterpillar-like creature, catches Mami completely off guard, and brutally decapitates her right in front of the horrified girls she was trying to mentor. It's not just that Mami dies, it's how sudden and graphic it is. 1 second she's posing victoriously, the next second her head is gone and her body is crumpling to the ground. The girls who were considering becoming magical girls themselves are now watching their mentor's corpse while a monster chews on her severed head. This moment single-handedly redefined what magical girl anime could be. Mami's death is still talked about today, over a decade later, because it was such a perfect subversion of expectations. The show had spent 2 episodes building trust with viewers, making them believe this would be a standard, safe, magical girl story, only to shatter that illusion with shocking brutality. But the real horror of Madoka Magica isn't just the violence, it's the cosmic despair that gets revealed as the series continues. The truth about what magical girls really are, what they become when they lose hope, and the utterly alien logic of the creatures that grant their powers creates a sense of existential dread that cute character designs can't mask. Speaking of existential dread hidden behind cute facades, let's talk about School Live, which might be the most deceptive anime ever created. The 2015 series was deliberately marketed as a typical slice-of-life school comedy about girls in a school club having fun together. The promotional materials, the character designs, even the first episode itself are specifically engineered to make you think you're watching the most harmless anime imaginable. The first episode follows Yuki, an eternally cheerful high school girl who loves her school so much that she literally lives there as part of the school living club. We see her attending classes, eating lunch with friends, participating in club activities, and just generally being the most adorable, upbeat character you can imagine. Everything is bright, colorful, and wholesome, but if you pay attention, there are subtle hints that something is very wrong. Classrooms are empty when they should be full. Teachers seem to ignore students. The school feels eerily quiet. These details are easy to miss on a first watch because the show presents everything through Yuki's perspective, and she's so relentlessly positive that her narration explains away any inconsistencies. Then in the final minutes of the first episode, reality crashes in. The camera pulls back to reveal that the bright, bustling school Yuki loves so much is actually dark, decrepit, and overrun with zombies. Her cheerful classroom interactions were hallucinations. Her club activities were survival routines. The school living club isn't about having fun at school. It's about 4 girls trying to survive in a zombie apocalypse while one of them has suffered a complete psychotic break and can no longer perceive reality. The revelation recontextualizes everything you just watched. Yuki's eternal optimism isn't cute anymore. It's a trauma response. Her love for school life isn't endearing. It's her mind protecting itself from unbearable truth by creating elaborate delusions. The other girls aren't her friends having fun. They're her caretakers, desperately trying to keep her alive while dealing with their own psychological damage. What makes school live particularly effective is how the opening sequence changes after the first episode. Initially, it shows the bright, happy version of events that Yuki perceives. But starting from episode 2, cracks begin to appear. The animation starts showing glimpses of the real zombie-infested world. The opening sequence literally reflects Yuki's deteriorating mental state, as reality becomes harder and harder to deny. If you think cute character designs can't possibly make body horror worse, Made in Abyss would like a word. This 2017 series features some of the most adorable character designs in anime history. Big bright eyes, round baby faces, and an art style that screams kid-friendly adventure. The premise seems innocent enough. A young girl named Riko descends into a mysterious chasm called the Abyss to find her missing mother, accompanied by a robot boy named Reg. The world building is genuinely beautiful and fantastical. The Abyss is filled with wonder and mystery, populated by fascinating creatures and ancient ruins. For several episodes, it really does feel like a charming adventure story about friendship and discovery. Sure, there are hints that the Abyss is dangerous, but nothing that seems beyond the scope of a typical adventure anime. Then episode 10 happens, and Made in Abyss reveals its true nature as one of the most disturbing shows ever created. Riko is poisoned by a dangerous creature, and the curse of the Abyss begins to take effect. What follows is an extended sequence of medical horror as 12-year-old Riko suffers from bleeding out of every orifice, including her eyes, while her arm swells to grotesque proportions and begins to rot. The horror comes from the contrast between the cute art style and the absolutely brutal content. Watching these adorable characters suffer through graphic body horror creates a uniquely disturbing experience. Reg, who looks like the most innocent robot child imaginable, is forced to break Riko's arm and begin amputating it while she screams in agony. The cute character designs don't soften the horror. They make it infinitely worse because your brain keeps trying to reconcile the adorable visuals with the horrific sounds and implications. Made in Abyss continues this pattern throughout its run. The deeper the characters descend, the more nightmarish the revelations become. We learn about children being transformed into mindless blobs of flesh by sadistic scientists. We meet characters like Amity, whose tragic backstory involves being literally deformed beyond recognition by the Abyss's curse until she became a barely conscious mass of suffering that begged to die. The series understands that true horror often comes from the corruption of innocence, and it weaponizes its cute aesthetic to create some of the most unsettling content in anime. The Promised Neverland takes a different approach to the cute to horrific transformation by building its entire premise around the perversion of childhood innocence. The 2019 series begins as what appears to be a heartwarming story about brilliant children in a picturesque orphanage cared for by their loving mother, Isabella. The kids are genuinely adorable, spending their days playing games, studying, and forming close bonds with each other. The orphanage looks like something out of a storybook with beautiful gardens, cozy interiors, and an atmosphere of warmth and safety. When children get adopted and leave for their new families, it's presented as a happy occasion, even if there's some sadness about saying goodbye. The first episode builds this illusion carefully, introducing us to Emma, Norman, and Ray, 3 exceptional children who serve as the emotional center of this found family. Everything feels safe, loving, and innocent. The biggest concerns are things like test scores and who gets the best food at dinner. Then Connie, one of the younger children, gets adopted and accidentally leaves behind her favorite stuffed toy. Emma and Norman decide to chase after the truck to return it to her, breaking the orphanage's strict rule about never approaching the gate. What they find there destroys not just their innocence, but the entire foundation of their world. Connie isn't going to a loving family. She's dead, with a flower grotesquely protruding from her chest. Two monstrous demons are discussing the quality of her flesh, raiding her like a piece of meat. The orphanage isn't a place of love and care. It's a farm where human children are bred and raised as livestock for demon consumption. The revelation reframes everything we've seen. Mother Isabella isn't a loving caretaker. She's a farmer managing her livestock. The tests aren't about education. They're about grading meat quality. The loving environment isn't about nurturing children. It's about keeping the product happy and healthy until harvest time. Even the age limit for adoption makes horrifying sense. 6-year-olds taste better than older children, but the exceptionally intelligent kids are allowed to develop until they're 12 for premium quality. What makes the Promised Neverland's twist so effective is how it maintains the cute character designs and warm color palette even after the truth is revealed. The contrast between the adorable children and the horrific reality of their situation creates a persistent sense of wrongness that never goes away. Higurashi, When They Cry, deserves special mention for being one of the pioneers of this subversive approach. The 2006 anime adaptation begins as what appears to be a charming visual novel about a teenage boy who moves to a rural village and makes friends with several cute girls. The art style is bright and colorful, the character interactions are sweet and funny, and everything seems perfectly innocent. Keiichi Maibara transfers to the tiny village of Hinamizawa and quickly befriends Reina, Mion, Satoko, and Rika. They form a club and spend their days playing games, having fun, and enjoying typical slice-of-life activities. The village itself seems idyllic, with beautiful countryside and friendly residents who welcome newcomers. But there are subtle hints that something is wrong. Keiichi discovers old newspaper clippings about mysterious deaths and disappearances that happen every year during the village festival. His new friends become evasive when he asks about these incidents. The cheerful facade begins to crack as Keiichi realizes that his adorable friends are hiding dark secrets. What makes Higurashi particularly effective is how it uses its cute character designs to maximum advantage when the horror begins. The same girls who were laughing and playing games transform into instruments of nightmare. Their sweet smiles become sinister. Their cute voices deliver threats and confessions of murder. The Mo art style that initially drew viewers in becomes a source of deep discomfort as these adorable characters reveal their capacity for extreme violence. The series follows a unique structure where each arc resets the timeline, allowing viewers to see the same cute characters fall into different patterns of madness and murder. This repetition creates a sense of inescapable doom. No matter how innocent things seem at the beginning, you know that these sweet girls will eventually be driven to horrific acts by the supernatural curse affecting their village. More recent entries in this genre have continued to push boundaries. Wonder Egg Priority from 2021 uses stunning animation and beautiful character designs to explore themes of suicide, trauma, and mental health. The protagonist, Ai, looks like she could be from any slice of life anime, but she's actually fighting manifestations of trauma in a dream world while trying to resurrect her friend who died by suicide. The series tackles incredibly heavy subject matter, including bullying, sexual assault, eating disorders, and self-harm, all while maintaining an art style that could easily belong to a much lighter show. The contrast between the beautiful visuals and the brutal emotional content creates a uniquely powerful viewing experience that stays with you long after the credits roll. What's fascinating about this trend in anime is how it reflects broader themes about the corruption of innocence and the hidden darkness in seemingly perfect worlds. These shows work because they tap into fundamental anxieties about trust, safety, and the reliability of appearances. They suggest that the things that seem most safe and innocent might actually be the most dangerous. The psychological impact of these shows is amplified by their deliberate use of cute aesthetics. When we see adorable characters suffering or committing acts of violence, it creates a cognitive dissonance that's deeply unsettling. Our brains are wired to associate cute designs with safety and comfort, so when that association is violated, it creates a lasting impact that straight horror often can't match. This subgenre has become increasingly sophisticated over the years. Early examples like Elfen Lied were content to simply contrast cute character designs with graphic violence, often to controversial effect. But modern entries like Madoka Magica and The Promised Neverland understand that the most effective horror comes from patience building genuine emotional investment before pulling the rug out from under viewers. The success of these shows has created its own subgenre, with creators specifically designing anime to subvert cute expectations. But the best examples still work because they commit fully to both sides of the equation. They're genuinely cute and endearing before they become genuinely horrifying. These anime prove that appearances can be devastatingly deceiving, that innocence can be a weapon, and that sometimes the most traumatic viewing experiences come wrapped in the most adorable packages. They've redefined what anime can be, showing that cute character designs and dark themes aren't incompatible. They can actually amplify each other to create something more powerful than either could achieve alone. The next time you see an anime with adorable characters and a cheerful premise, just remember, you might be about to witness some of the most psychologically devastating content ever animated, because in the world of anime, nothing is ever as innocent as it first appears.